Where you at, Berto?
Women are keeping other women single. I've been saying this for a long time. Some of y'all ladies need to stop listening to y'all female friends, bro. They telling you how to get a nigga when they single, got 3 kids from 3 different baby daddies, and you gonna take advice for them on how to keep your man? All right, that's probably not the best way to go.
My channel, I'm Courtney Ryan, and today we're gonna be reacting to, let's get into it. So before we watch,
feels like there is so much encouragement to get divorced, especially for women. I've seen some of these mom Facebook groups and like Reddit threads and stuff. I saw a post today and it was from a mom who was talking about how she's really upset because her husband took her kids to McDonald's. And she was mad because she—
You were mad your husband took the kids to McDonald's? Why?
Said he knows that I don't approve of that kind of food. It's unhealthy junk food. And now he's out there taking them. And like, how do I navigate this? You know, what should I say? What should I do? And the comments were insane, you guys. One lady was like, he clearly doesn't respect you as a mother. Someone else said, this is a huge red flag. If he's willing to do this and feed them junk food, imagine what else he's willing to do.
Oh my God. Bro, these angry ass ladies will get in the TikTok comment section and tell you to divorce your husband because he wanted to give your kids a cheat meal, some chicken nuggets and french fries. It is not that deep, girl. Do not fuck up your whole marriage over something like this.
Like, who is this guy? And of course, the terms toxic and narcissist get thrown around.
Toxic and narcissist because the husband took his kids to eat some McDonald's. Are we being serious right now?
And I'm just like, what? It happens all the time where women will post about their relationships, and so many other women, I don't know if they're single or if they've been divorced or something, but they're very excited to encourage the woman to leave. That's usually the kind of stuff they're complaining about. It's never, you know, the extreme cases of why you think someone should leave. It's more just like, I don't know, like he's a great guy, but something's missing. And
the sad part about this is I feel like I said in the intro, so many women are in this scenario. They're following their path. They find a good guy. No guy is perfect. It's going to come with problems. All relationships come with some level of problems. But the most frustrating thing as a man is when you can see that your girl's friend group is not for them. You know what I'm saying? You see the bad habits. You see that they're going out every weekend. They see that they're trying to drag them into the bullshit. They're trying to keep them down. And, you know, I'll give somewhat of the benefit of the doubt that some women don't even realize that they're doing this because they're just like, yeah, go queen, you know what I'm saying? Do what you want, live your life, queen. They're all about the fun. And, you know, so maybe it's not coming from a bitter place where they want to see you fail. But the reality is they're idiots. They literally are idiots and they don't have their priorities straight. And they will fuck your situation off just so you can be a partner in their self-destruction path. You know what I'm saying? And when they're, and the, you know, the crazy part is the same women that will talk you out of your situation and fuck your situation up, ladies, when they go get their man, I guarantee you they'll leave you high and dry. High and dry. They won't be answering your calls. They're not going to want to be going out with you because they're probably like, oh, I got a good thing going. Let me hold it. I'm going to hold it down for my nigga. You know what I'm saying? While you went and fucked up your situation because you want to hang out with Becky on Saturday. Like, it's nasty, nasty work, man.
People will be like, girl, you can leave. Slay queen. Go have like your single era. Go find someone better. Go find someone who will treat you better. Usually the grass really isn't greener over there.
I've told y'all this before too. And you know, this goes for men and women, honestly, where, bro, don't lose somebody that has 80 to 90% of everything you want, even 70% of everything you want out of a partner, looking for that 20, 10, 30%. Because nobody's perfect. Motherfuckers always want to go see if the grass is greener on the other side. So literally you'll have damn near everything you could ever want out your partner. And then you go searching for that 5, 10% that's missing. Statistically, you're already winning. You beat the game. Why are you going to go back and fail for essentially less?
But yet as women, we keep encouraging each other like that it is. And that is just awful advice. That is awful advice to give anybody. So if you are a woman, be especially careful of the things you're consuming online because they'll get in your head and they'll start to make you see problems in your relationship.
And just an extra little bonus tip off the back of what she just said. Yo, my bad real quick, but I got to put y'all on, man. I know y'all like money. Dude, I like money. Money's nice. And I'm about to give y'all the easiest hustle to make some side cheese while you doom scrolling watching Berto videos. I'm not going to lie. I know a lot of y'all be playing games on your phones for free. Now I'm about to show you how to get paid off it. Hit the link in my description or scan this QR code on the screen, and in only about 30 seconds, you're gonna be able to sign up for freecash.com. It's super simple, just like any website. With a quick email and a password, you're in. It's gonna be a wall of games just waiting for you to get to that cheese. There's so many valid options, so just actually pick a game that you would like to play on your free time. You speed run the levels, and I'm talking about actual money that you can spend IRL, go straight into your free cash balance. I'm telling you, bro, this method turns your brain dead time where you just chilling playing games on your phone to actually stacking some cheese. Realistically, most people are pulling $10 to $20 in a day just from casual playing. You ain't even gotta be going crazy for real. And if you're one of them grinders, you actually like to get to that bag, there are offers where you can make up to $100 to even $500. So it does get pretty insane, I'm telling you. Now, some of the top earners, you don't gotta do this, but if you want to, you could actually speed run and spend a couple of dollars for better earning opportunities. But you don't have to spend a penny, bro. You could dead ass get a bankroll just by playing the free games. Stick to the free stuff and you'll still be able to cash out. So next time you're taking a break from my videos and you just chilling and you playing games on your phone, you might as well make something out of it. You guys know I've always said, man, if you're gonna play video games, you might as well make some money, man. And they made the cash out process so easy. They have PayPal, gift cards, whatever works for you, they got it. So hit the link or scan the code and sign up for free today, gang. Because when you use my link, they're already gonna start you off with a $5 bonus. Where you at, family? You already know I got you, bro. Let's get back to the video. But go get your money, dog. I think it's healthy to have somebody to vent to when you're, when you're in a relationship. It's healthy to kind of have an outlet, a third outside opinion. But be careful who that ends up being, bro. Sometimes I've told late girls before, like, that I've been dating, is like, hey, don't be going to complaining to your friends about me. Don't go venting to your friends about me. And I don't mean that in a controlling way, but it's just like people will plant toxic and negative things into your relationship that don't even exist, bro. And then now before you know it, you stressing things that you wasn't even stressing in the first place. They're planting negative seeds in your head, when the reality is when you going through something with your partner, you need to figure it out with your partner. Now, again, I do think it's healthy to have an outlet outside of your partner. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't, but you really, really, really have to be careful who you're, opening your dirty laundry out to, because people aren't as genuine as you think, bro. Or at the very worst, they don't really care. Maybe it's not the fact that they want to see you fail, but they don't necessarily have your best interest either. So they'll go and fuck around, tell you some bullshit to make you feel better and give you that instant gratification. You know what I'm saying? But the reality is they don't even really care about the result or outcome that will come out of you making that decision that they incentivized you to do. So you guys got to really be careful, man.
That aren't really there. Stuff you read can turn your husband into a toxic narcissist, no good guy, when that is probably not the case at all. And then you become the toxic narcissist one that's constantly looking for something else and constantly thinking she deserves better and constantly unhappy. If you had a good man before you got on social media, he's probably still a good man. Don't let them sabotage your relationship just because that's what they did to theirs.
Okay, wow. I have to say, I pretty much agreed with every single thing that she said. And honestly, this is such an important conversation that just doesn't get talked about enough. First off, I want to acknowledge the obvious here. Marriage and long-term relationships are not perfect, right? You're going to have disagreements, frustrations, moments where you might not see eye to eye, like taking your kids to McDonald's, right? That's normal. But what she pointed out so well is how social media has created this culture where even the smallest frustrations are treated like these massive red flags. Like the little story that she mentioned, a husband taking his kids to McDonald's suddenly becomes proof that he doesn't respect his wife, or worse, that he's toxic or narcissistic. That is such an extreme and unfair leap for something that we know zero other details about. Like, that's crazy. We are always jumping to the worst conclusions.
You know, my aunt said something to me, not really related to like relationships, but our minds are so quick to be like, what if this doesn't work out? What if this doesn't happen? What if everything just falls through? And this stuck with me forever when she told me, and it's so simple, but she said, what if it does work out? What if it does have the outcome that you want? And I think our minds, for some reason, it's so quick to jump to the negatives and play out the negatives and, really, live in that negative energy. But how often do you just look in the mirror and be like, what if it does though? And the same way where you will spend hours and hours and hours stressing about how everything can go bad. What if you took that same energy, that same time, and flipped it into how it could work out and all the positives that can happen and all the great things that can happen? And, obviously life's not perfect and there's always going to be bad things that happen, but just simply changing that your mindset into a more positive one, and being more optimistic and putting it back on the topic of relationships, like, yo, things could work out with this person, things are working out with this person. Why wouldn't I keep watering this tree and see how big it can grow? You know what I mean? And I think that's something that a lot of people need to, one, adapt into their lifestyle, but keeping on topic of the video, for sure in relationships, you can't be afraid to get hurt. Anytime you do anything rooted in fear is always going to leave you fucked up. So, while you shouldn't be blind and an idiot and ignore the red flags, also be optimistic. If you've already done the vetting process and you've already said, yo, I think I really want to give this a shot, then give it an honest shot, man. Don't be scared.
And the most extreme labels for everything. It has become so exhausting. Let me know if you feel that way too, but every time I see this, I'm just like, please, can we stop? And here's the bigger issue. When you spend enough time online, you start to absorb this unrealistic picture of what a perfect partner, a perfect husband should look like. It's like there's this checklist floating around on TikTok and Instagram of what a good husband or boyfriend must do. And if your partner isn't buying you these giant bouquets of flowers for every single little holiday, writing you love letters, little notes around the house, taking you on expensive vacations every month.
And it's funny, like, girls don't even like this shit. This is the type of shit where women will say, oh, I like when he does this, X, Y, and Z, and does a whole long list of shit. But you become a simpy, wimpy ass nigga, I promise you she's gonna leave your bitch ass fast. She's gonna lose interest fast, bro. You gotta keep women on their toes. And not in a negative, toxic way, but just in a way where it's like, you don't wanna be predictable. Like, for example, if you bought a girl flowers every single week, every single Friday, you came home with a bouquet of flowers. By the third, fourth week, it's not going to be that special anymore. You know what I mean? But if you're the type of individual that almost never gets your girl flowers, and then, to the point where it's not even an expectation, she's like, this nigga never gets me flowers. And then boom, you pop up with some flowers for her on a random Friday. Like, she's going to be like, oh my God, like, wow, thank you so much. I never thought you would do something like this. I promise you it's going to be so much more impactful. She's going to be so much more excited to tell her friends. And, and again, it's like, I think manipulation is the word that a lot of people will use when I say stuff like this. And it's like, it's not being manipulative. And why does being manipulative always have to be negative? Again, this goes back to what I said earlier in the video. If I were to come to you and were to manipulate you into getting into the gym more, and manipulate you into reading more books, and manipulate you into wanting to do better for yourself, is that negative? You know what I'm saying? So if I, quote unquote, am manipulating my woman into, feeling more spontaneous and more excited about our relationship and not everything feeling so predictable, is that now a negative? Again, now there's other, my voice is cracked like crazy. But again, there's probably a more positive word that I can use, and it's not coming to the top of my mind right now. But my whole point is, don't be afraid to be intentionally a little bit, I don't want to say standoffish, but keep it P. That's the best way I could put it, bro. Keep it P, keep it player. Don't be no simpy bitch ass nigga, because girls don't even like that anyway. They're always gonna go for the guy that's just a little bit more unpredictable. But I'm not talking about in a toxic way, just in a way where it can be like, damn, I didn't see that coming, and I really do appreciate that. You know what I'm saying?
Or whatever the latest trend is, then the internet convinces you that you are with a loser, or that he doesn't care about you, that you're not his dream girl, and that you can do so much better. And that is ridiculous. Real love is not about these flashy grand gestures all of the time. It's about consistency, effort, and the little things that you do every single day. I think this online culture also is really setting women up for constant disappointment, because instead of appreciating the good man that they already have, they're being trained to look for the flaws and compare him to some highlight reel of strangers on social media.
And it's funny because women that only chase this, and men too, honestly, like, you guys have this unrealistic checklist of everything that your partner has to meet. You're going to be miserable forever, bro. You're going to be miserable forever and self-sabotage yourself into never being happy in a relationship, because something's always going to be missing. At some point, it's not about settling, it's not about settling, but it is about just pretty much accepting, like, yo, I like this person. this person likes me. Yeah, they have some flaws, but for the most part, I wake up every day and I'm not stressed. This person makes me happy. They're genuine. You know what I'm saying? Whenever we do have disagreements, we're able to talk them out. Like, it's not a toxic situation. You're in a good situation. Don't fuck your situation off looking for something that is less than what you have.
If you're always looking for what's missing instead of what's already there, you will never be satisfied. I think we have completely lost sight of what it means to have gratitude. And to be thankful for the things that you do have in your life instead of always focusing on the things that you don't have. I think social media has created a problem even bigger than just relationships. Too many people are always focused on what they don't have instead of what they do.
Comparison's the thief of
joy.
joy.
So many people are deeply unhappy and constantly disappointed. And I want to get a little personal for a second, which I try not to do, but I can speak from experience on this, so I feel like it's important to share. I would consider myself a pretty level-headed and logical person, but back when my husband and I were just dating, I started listening to the Call Her Daddy podcast at work just to pass the time with my headphones in, as so many people were doing. And
Call her daddy. Just a name like that is a red flag. Why would a feminine woman want to be called daddy? That's just got to be a red flag.
let me tell you, that podcast made me feel absolutely insane. I would leave work feeling so insecure and suspicious. They would constantly say things like, if he's doing this, he's cheating. All men cheat. Don't trust anything he says. Snoop through his phone while he's sleeping.
Here's the thing. Real men don't cheat. You know, and I say this from a place of like, you know, there's a lot of toxic and negative stereotypes that, oh, if you want to be an alpha male, if you want to be, you know, the most masculine version of yourself, you have to cheat on your woman. Here's the thing when it comes to that. I do believe that men are different than women. Men can cheat in a way where they're not going to be emotionally fucked up about it. So, for example, if you're in a relationship and you go cheat on your girl, 9 times out of 10, if you really love your girl, you're not actually like emotionally cheating. You just want to get your nut off. But the biggest problem with that, it's big. One, you're disrespecting your wife, or your partner. So that's obviously lame. That's not cool. But let's put that to the side. What a real man lacks when he cheats on his girl is discipline, bro. Because you are pretty much, you have no self-control. You literally are being fueled by lust, and you're pretty much submitting to that lust, saying like, yo, I cannot contain my excitement, and I have to go get this shit off with this other person, even though it could jeopardize everything that I've built with the person that I actually love and care for. And that's where I think it's like a real man doesn't cheat, because it's not because he's emotionally incapable of staying loyal to his girl, but what it does show is that you lack discipline. Like, you literally cannot control yourself. And I feel like a real man, less about the whole, you know, lust part. It's just more like, yo, I don't want to cheat, not because I don't want to fuck this hoe, but because it's just like, why would I? I have self-control. I don't need this. I already have a good situation. It's not worth it. You know what I'm saying? So that's maybe like a deeper dive into how I feel about the shit. Now, again, cheating's wrong. Nobody should be doing it, man or woman. It's lame. But when you really break it down, I feel like that's what it really comes down to. Self-control. And I think any man that doesn't have self-control is not a real man. That's a boy.
The list goes on. That's just scratching the surface. And before I knew it, all those little seeds of doubt that I was listening to consistently were planted in my head. I found myself questioning everything for absolutely no reason at all. It was so unhealthy and so damaging, and I'm not proud to admit that, but I share it because it shows how easily it can happen, even to people who think that they're above being influenced. Ultimately, I recognized that the content was making me feel like a crazy person, and I stopped listening. But I know so many women who are still being affected by things like this every single day, whether it's through podcasts, TikToks, or quick hit videos that just pop up on your timeline and plant those same doubts and insecurities. And I know she touched on this a little bit in the video, but this is why I always say, be mindful about what you are consuming, because whether you realize it or not, it is shaping how you see your significant other and your relationship. So find positive people to follow who don't make you feel like a crazy person. And we cannot forget that misery loves company. A lot of the voices encouraging women to leave their marriages or telling them
That's kind of what I said earlier, man. Y'all gonna take advices from motherfuckers that the best way to take advice, and sometimes this doesn't necessarily work when you're looking at somebody on the internet or on TV, because you don't necessarily know what that person does outside of the life that they present to you. Like some of y'all that watch me, look, I can tell y'all right now, I try to keep it really transparent. The person that I am on camera is pretty much the same that I am off camera. But at the end of the day, me giving you this advice would also put me in this category. But be careful who you look up to, bro, because especially on the internet, because you don't know these people, you don't know their patterns. But what is really dope is when you are seeing somebody in your life in real time that you've spent time around, and you know, you see they got their money together, you know, they're focused, they got a nice physique, they got the girls that you like, or vice versa. And this goes for women too. You know, the woman, she's in a good relationship, she, you know, her man respects her. When you look at somebody, instead of being a hating ass nigga, really start to appreciate and value the things that they have to bring to the table and their advice. Because if you're looking at them and being like, yo, I kind of, you know, maybe I don't want to be exactly like them. I'm not saying I want to be a copycat ass nigga, but I honestly am inspired by the shit they got going on. I like what they got going on. I kind of wish that was me to a degree, right? You know, I wish I was in this position. I want to be in their position in my own way. That's the person you probably should be taking advice from. How you gonna take advice from a motherfucker that ain't never done it before? That don't even make sense, gang. That don't even make sense. That's got to be some level of insanity. You going up to a motherfucker who's broke, who don't got their own situation, don't got no relationship, you know, got a few babies from different baby daddies or baby mamas, and you taking their advice on how to get your life together? What? That don't make no sense, gang.
That all men are trash are coming from women who are single or divorced themselves. And look, some of those women may have had very real, very painful experiences.
Yeah, and that's not to say that you can't take advice from people that, you know, because shit, the only reason I know what I know now is because I fucked up so many times. So there's truth to that for sure. But again, the whole picture will paint something. You still, you still ain't got no job. You say you've been looking for a job for like 2 years now. You still don't got one. You know what I'm saying? Oh, you got another baby on the way from a different person again. You know what I'm saying? Oh, somehow you caught another case. He's like, we start to see all these different red flags, all these different patterns. It's like at some point, who's the problem, you know?
Same exact thing happens with men online, by the way. I see it firsthand all of the time. These men who are single, divorced, or bitter, or all of the above, getting online telling men horrific things about women that just aren't true. You can't slap a label on every single person in the world and say that it's true. But I see it all the time. So I don't want you to think this just happens with women. It happens with men too. But what often happens is that bitterness gets projected onto everyone else. Instead of saying, hey, I had a bad experience, but maybe yours is different, it becomes, well, if my relationship didn't work, neither should yours. If my wife...
And this is why I always say too, even the advice I'm giving you guys in this video, take everything with a grain of salt, bro. Because have y'all ever heard the saying, maybe I'm saying it wrong, but there's no one way to skin a cat. That's a crazy ass saying. I don't know why that makes sense, but pretty much what that means is not everything is going to work for everybody. So what worked for me might not work for you. What worked for you might not work for me. So, you know, don't be so quick to, I guess, again, go hardcore, full obsession with anything, really. If you hear something you like, and you resonate with it, break it down, look at it in a very realistic manner, and apply bits and pieces of that into your life. See what happens. Maybe you get positive results. Okay, maybe you dive in a little deeper with that. Maybe you get negative results. Maybe you retract. Maybe you get negative results and you keep pushing through and it turns into positive results. Take everything with a grain of salt. Don't rush the process.
If her husband did this, then yours is doing it too. And this cycle is so damaging because one, it keeps people single. It fuels resentment between men and women, and it pushes people away from working through the normal ups and downs of a relationship. And going back to what she said in the video, you have to be careful about who you're getting advice from online. Not only do you not know these people personally, but they also don't have the full context of your relationship. They're only seeing one side of a story, and that's whatever you choose to share. And anyone can spin a narrative that makes their partner look bad if they want to. So if you're coming to the internet to seek advice and you're basing decisions about your marriage or relationship on comments from strangers who don't know you, don't know your husband, and don't have the full picture, you are setting yourself up for disaster. In fact, I would go as far as to say that you shouldn't even be posting about your marriage or relationship online to begin with. I've talked about this in past videos before. It's something that I feel strongly about and I stand by, but I think the second that you open that door and invite other people's opinions in, you're basically handing them the power to influence how you feel about your own significant other. And I think it's a huge mistake that people should absolutely stop doing. Marriage should be between you and your spouse. If you're in a relationship, you and your significant other, not you, your spouse, and the random people on Reddit or TikTok giving you unsolicited advice. It's really strange to me. And like she said, at the end of the day, if you had a good man before you got on social media, he's probably still a good man. Don't let these toxic online messages convince you otherwise. And the same thing goes for you guys that are watching. And don't let perfect, or this internet version of perfect, become the enemy of good. Relationships don't need to look like this perfect fairy tale in order to be strong and healthy. So my overall takeaway from this is protect your relationship from outside noise. Work through your frustrations with your partner directly instead of crowdsourcing advice from strangers on the internet. Do not buy into the idea that the grass is always greener, because most of the time it's not. And be careful about the content you're consuming, because the voices that you listen to the most will absolutely shape how you see your relationship. I thought her video was spot on, and I really wanted more people to hear it. I hope that women watch this video too. I think this applies to both men and women. I think, the same exact things are happening with men online as well. It's become a huge issue on both sides of the equation. And I know we say, women are keeping other women single, or social media wants you to leave your man. But the reality is you are in control of the content that you're consuming, the advice that you're asking for, the people that you're talking to, whether it be, the people in your circle or strangers on the internet. You are in control of the things that you are watching. And
for sure. And I think, it all comes back to protecting your energy. Again, we all consume content. It's 2025 in some way, shape, or form. Probably going to be watching something that's going to inspire you in a certain way. And there's nothing wrong with that. But take everything with a grain of salt and protect your energy, because, again, what works for that person might not work for you.
Where you at, Berto? I made this shit look sweet.